Happy weekend, everyone. Today we are talking Disney After Hours. So this is a really cool event that they have down at Disney World. It's not going on right now due to COVID, but I have a feeling that it's coming back. And we'll talk about that in the wrap-up of kind of why I think it's coming back. But let's take a look at it. We got to experience this on our last family trip, and it was fantastic. So we actually did the Disney After Hours at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Now, what's really cool about the After Hours program is that you not only get the 3 hours after the park closes in the park, but you also get a little bit of time before the park closes. So you go in at 7 p.m. regardless of when your park closure time is. So we got to go in at 7. Our event took place from 9 p.m. to midnight. And so we got to go in a couple hours early, and it was really, really cool. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what we got to experience, and then we'll talk about it. How you doing? Ready to go for this thing? It's going to be fun. Like I said, we had a great time. So we got there about 15 minutes before 7 o'clock, got our wristbands, went through at 7 and went back to the safari. And of course got to do the sunset safari, which was fantastic. I had a fast pass for it, but I didn't need it because there really wasn't a line. But anyway, we went through and did that. Then we watched Rivers of Light, which was an okay show. I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but the girls enjoyed it. So that was cool. And then we kind of let the crowds thin out a little bit, and we went through rode Dinosaur, which was a complete and total walk-on. Of course, we had our wristbands on, and they were waving us through, and we got to just walk through and get right on that sucker. I don't even think we did the pre-show. I think we just walked through, if I remember right, but who knows? I'm old, and you know how that stuff goes. But it was great. No line at all. Went and did Everest. No line for that. Then we did some of the shows and stuff they had. They had like a street party thing happening, and then they had snack tables set up. Well, that's one of the cool things about it is you can get popcorn, ice cream treats, soda, water, Powerade, that sort of stuff. And it's unlimited. As much as you want throughout the night, they'll just keep on passing it to you. And brother, let me tell you, Bubba put that to the test, and it worked out well for me. Let me tell you, I was determined I was going to get my money's worth, and I believe I did. So the big question, of course, with Animal Kingdom is, well, what about Pandora? So the first ride we went on in Pandora was Navi River Journey. And, of course, it was just a walk-on. I mean, literally just walked in, sat down, and off we went. I think it made that noise, too. Off we went. So next time you ride Navi River, listen for that noise, and off you'll go. The next thing we went on, of course, was Pandora Flight of Passage, and that was really the big test. when we went, we got in line. At this point, it was maybe 9:30. I think it was about 30 minutes into the party, so there had been a big surge at the beginning, and the four of us waited. I think we waited 20 minutes. It was between 15 and 20 minutes. I know it was no more than that, but it was somewhere in that 15 to 20 minute range. We went through the Fast Pass queue, and it worked out pretty well. I think we were 2 cycles back, because I think we went forward, stopped, and then we were going into the next group. So it worked out pretty well for us. We rode it again. Actually, we rode it twice more, my daughters and I. My wife rode it the first time. She wasn't too interested in going the second time. Not that she didn't like it, but she has rheumatoid arthritis, and so we had the wheelchair for her that night because her knees just, if you have that disease, your knees and your wrists, they just don't do well. So, but she liked it. We wheeled her up there the first time, but it's just being in that hunch kind of position. It didn't hurt her, but she could tell that, this was several days in her vacation. She's like, I don't want to push it. So I took the girls back. The second time we went through was maybe 10, it was a few minutes after 10. Maybe 10:15 or so, because we went and did a couple things and came back. The second time that we went through the line, we made it all the way up and stopped, and then the end of the line stopped, and then they went through one cycle, and then we were like the next group in the next cycle. So I don't know, it was maybe a 7 to 10 minute wait. The last time that we rode it was at closing. So we went, the event ended at midnight. I think it was like 10 till. That my daughters and I went back through the queue, and this was the most fantastic thing ever, because when we got up there, we went into the pre-show room, and it was just the 3 of us. And then we went in the next room, and it was just the 3 of us. And so when we got on the ride, we had the whole thing to ourselves, our little section. It was fantastic. It was a memory that I will never forget. I mean, it was like having our own private ride on Flight of Passage. It was great. And, if you kind of look to the side, you can see some of the other theaters, and most of them were empty or only had a couple people in it. So it was awesome. So if you do this, definitely go right before closing. It was amazing. Like that was worth just the entire price of admission to me, getting to do that. But it was fun. I would recommend this event. Hands down, this was great. In fact, we've talked about it, that if they bring it back again, I think they will, we would do this instead of park tickets at a couple of parks, because it was just so much fun. I mean, we had a blast. We definitely, I can't recommend it enough. I would definitely do this again. I think it's coming back for 2 reasons. One, because the crowds are really light. They limit the number of people, so you can still do social distancing. Y'all don't listen to me. I can't talk. You could still stay far apart from one another because there's less people there. I think you could still do it the same way they do it during the daytime. And this was becoming more popular. So I went back to Disney after we did this last summer. And I went back in January for my conference. And I just looked, and several of the dates were actually sold out around that time. So it was becoming more and more popular. And if you follow Disney, when they figure out how to make a buck, they don't like to give that up. And so I think this is going to come back. It seemed like it was successful for them, so I would expect to see it again. Now, I can't promise that. I don't work for the folks. I don't get paid for them. That's just Bubba's 2 cents right there. Bubba's 2 cents. I got to throw my 2 cents out there. And that's what I think. I think it's going to come back. But that's going to wrap it up for me. I've been rambling long enough. I got to go out and do some stuff, and y'all tired of looking at my ugly mug. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you stayed this long, hey, well done. I appreciate it, man. Or woman. Whatever. Thank you. Take care, y'all.